Hey guys, and thank you for joining us on yet again another epic conversation. I'm joined by Nomonde Ngcobo, and yeah, we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful conversation. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to let you introduce yourself and tell us what you do, who you are, and the rest.
My name is Nomonde Ngcobo, and I'm a ball of fun, I think. I hope so. I am a teacher by profession. I'm currently a lecturer at a particular university. And yeah, that's about it.
I am fascinated by the work that you do, obviously, because education for me is like such an important part of the human experience.
Okay.
You know, and I know how vulnerable and impressionable young people are, and whenever someone's doing that in a positive light, I'm always like, you know, a fan of, or I'm always like cheering them on. So yeah, maybe we can talk a little bit about that and like some of the experiences you've had with teaching younger people and what the joy that it gives you, and maybe some of the challenges that you have with it. But why did you choose that, and why is it something that you choose every day?
Okay. So teaching chose me. I know it sounds tacky. But in matric, I had no plans of doing teaching at all.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what plans I had, but teaching was not one of them. And then a friend of mine was like, you should try it. It seems like something that you'd be good at.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, okay, if I register and I do one semester and I hate this thing, I won't do it again. But if I love it, I'll do it. Okay. I did one module. There was like a psychology module. And I don't know what happened. It's not like falling in love with something. It's like I knew that I'm going to do this for the rest of my life.
That's cool.
It's like...
Yeah.
Because falling in love is like fickle, whereas this felt very set in stone for me. So then after that, I started doing the degree and going to teaching experience. Teaching experience where you do your practicals, like your practical that you do for a couple of weeks. And I did my first practical, and it just felt more. It's like the roots were just getting deeper and stronger, and it made more sense why I'm here. And then I became a teacher.
Yes.
And now it's all I can think about in most cases. I don't know how to put this, but it's like every time when I think about what I need to do and the plans that I need to set for my lessons and whatever, for me it doesn't feel like I have to think about it. It just feels more natural.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, right. It just comes naturally. So I don't know whether I enjoy getting to know the mind of that particular child and then watching it transform into what the child wants it to be, or I enjoy it because it unlocks parts of me that I didn't know that I have.
I see.
Yeah.
And I think I would be particularly fascinated by the concept of actually learning from students more than I don't know who said this, but well, I think it's Kanye. Okay. I think Kanye might have said. I'm not saying for certainty that he said this, but it was something along the lines of, I don't learn from older people.
Yes.
Older people don't have new ideas. He learns from young people because young people have fresh ideas. Yes. They're not tamed by fear of losing or fear of being wrong or like all of these things. And then there's this thing that I believe about the complexity for human beings is that they have such unique experiences. The year that you were born in, like the people that you grow up around, and the TV that you watch, everything channels how you absorb energy. I mean, how you absorb knowledge and how you absorb energy from the world and like how you perceive things. Yes, and then your mental capacity is also how you process now this information and how well you understand it, and then regurgitate it, like, and how well can you communicate, you know, and just in the same sense that our fingerprints are different to everybody's. I feel like the human mind is also like that. Like there's just vast levels of differences in how a person can understand a situation or a scenario or something like that. So you get to communicate information, and you see this wonderful person absorb it and then process it, and just gives you a completely different, fresh take of how you can see this thing. And you're like, never in a million years would I have been able to do that because I am not that person.
It's really exciting, especially like with my students. They come in as different people, and you can tell that they leave different. They can't see it because they leave exhausted, but you can tell. And you never get the same batch. You never get the same type of student. They could be similar in a sense that they like the same things, or the way that they write essays is similar, but they're just completely different. The way that they interact with each other is different. The way that they interact with you is different. Like in my cohorts, there's like 4 of them. They're not all the same. I don't even make the same jokes with them. It's like they get a different lecturer every time, which for me is nice because that means I acknowledge that they're different. And on top of that, I have space in my mind to accept things that they come up with that are either maybe peculiar or different to what I think.
And I do like what you're saying about them leaving different, but not necessarily knowing. But because you understand the journey that they have to undertake, and and you understand the destination that they're going to. You can tell, and I think that's like wonderful encouragement for like young students still in school. Like even if you leave the place of your studies feeling exhausted, like you didn't achieve anything, the people that are in front of you are literally observing something so different. Like I think even getting up and being in that space is effort enough, there's something that will change just from being in that space, whether in the social sense, you may make connections that day, whether in the intellectual sense, and also the psychological sense, because just being around people in community and smart people, developing people, it could inspire you, but you might not witness the click immediately. But in like 4 years' time, maybe even out of school, and then suddenly you have this desire to do something, and then you just go, oh, I actually remember one of my mates talking about something like this. And then like that puzzle, that's the piece of the puzzle that's been sitting over there, suddenly fits the whole picture. And I think I just want people to take that away. It's just go like, there's people watching you and watching the process that you're going through, and they understand it. And if they're not asking you to give up yet, it means that they know that you are doing well.
It's it's crazier. The world of education, it either choose you and keeps you there or spits you out. Like there's no in between where you can kind of waddle in between and you're like, I'm just gonna keep this stable. There's no, you can tell, like every time I get a batch of first years, I'm always like, guys, there's 50 of you this year, maybe next year there's gonna be 45 and we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay, because I want them to get into a space where they understand that they're not doing this because it's pretty, they're doing this because it's a servanthood job. And if you don't have the spirit of servanthood, you really can't stay long. And I know it sounds bad when I say some of you will leave because this is not for you. But realistically, I'm secretly hoping they leave. I'm secretly hoping they leave, because then I'm like, at least if 40 of them graduates from the 50, I'm confident that 40 great teachers are graduating. Then to have 50 teachers graduating, but 10 of them are just doing it
just because
they're winging it.
I think I feel the same about music. Like no profession is supposed to be doing anybody favors, I think.
Of course.
Like And there's this thing that I believe about life is that everyone has a grace over their life to do something.
Okay.
Right? Don't try and like meddle in other people's graces. Like, you know, because you're not going to be great and you're going to have this frustration and it's going to feel like you can't do something, but actually you can. You're just doing the wrong thing. There's someone else who's like, there's soccer players. When I watch them, I go like, whoa, these guys can play.
So good.
You know what I mean? And you're like, how are they doing that? How are they doing that? But I don't go, oh, I want to put on soccer boots and get in there.
Run around.
And because I'm like, I just know that wasn't the thing I was created.
Yes.
And again, there's nothing wrong with exploring and figuring out where you belong. But then there's obviously like standards and measures that you can like after some time you can see that, hey, like maybe this is not for me.
This can just stay a hobby.
Yes, and like you have to confront yourself with it and be like, it's fine. Let me not stand in the way of like, let me not take up space.
Yes.
There's other students that will like, cherish this and are good at it, you know. But maybe because I so happen to be able to be here, maybe from a privileged point of view, whatever it is. I want to take up this space, you know. You're missing out on completely being what you're supposed to be.
Yes.
You know, because maybe you were told that it was an important job or whatever other
Parents.
yeah,
Hey,
there's
but our parents.
another kind of worms that
Hey, but our parents.
you're supposed to either be like
A doctor.
Yes.
A nurse.
Yes.
A lawyer.
yeah.
A teacher. What else? I think those are the most prominent ones.
The prominent ones, at least I understand for
Yes.
black culture. It's
The moment
that,
you say you want to be a choreographer,
like,
you want to dancer. You want to go dance.
you know,
For people,
if you're still in primary school, yeah, they'll cheer you on. But
Yeah.
once you start to go in high school, they're like,
and you're still going on that stage that you want to be an artist, they look at you like,
yeah,
is she okay?
yeah.
Right, no.
That's also something that is not wrong with the world, but I would love to see those things change a bit, because I think you find people that are brilliant at maybe medicine or whatever, but it was never their desire, you know, and they live a relatively miserable life, you know, in a position that they don't really love, because they were not allowed to be like a marine biologist or something like that, because maybe it wasn't important enough for their society, or it was too quirky, you know, or for whatever reason. And then obviously like the more obvious ones are like musicians, dancers, like art space.
Yes.
You know, you get amazing people that can paint and stuff like that. I just feel like if those people were rather supported, you know, in discovering that, I think we would have like happier people and and brighter people and more people that are more ecstatic for life. Sometimes you just find like someone's just there, and especially at home affairs behind the desk on a Monday.
But Ricardo, don't you think, because you talked about the happiest you could be, like if you were supported this way, you could be happy. Do you not think that for some cultures, happiness was not an option that you can have? Like happiness was on the back burner. You are happy if you're eating. You're happy if you have some sort of money. And now we're in a space where we can explore the idea of being happy fully. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Like,
it does.
our parents were like, go, 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 go.
Yeah.
You need to wake up. You need to go. You need to go. And then now we're just like, slow down. It's okay. Like everything's going to be fine.
That's true. I mean, if that wasn't the case, I don't think we would have people working as like housekeepers and stuff like that, or people working like very low end jobs, you know, and especially with the wages that some people get in this country doing that. I think a lot of people would much rather do something else that they love. at that stage, it does sometimes confuse me, but I sort of get it. Like, it's survival mode. Switching.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like the thing that, yes, I've been taught to, or been conditioned, rather, been conditioned to value a meal.
Yes.
And so I will do anything short of crime to have that every night, because it's scary to not have that.
And the birth rate in South Africa keeps climbing. So there's more people that are desperate to keep their kids alive than
Yes.
they are to just say, you know what, it's just me.
Yeah.
It's okay. But now it's more of it's me and I have two. And so the and now becomes the desperation.
Yeah. And it's quite scary that, like, I worry about the youth that's growing up in those situations. I literally wrote a song around that, because it's so, they are so unaware of what's out there.
Okay.
Like, I'm saying this from experience. Like, grew up in not the most favorable conditions, and I know what aspirations I had, and I know what I was exposed to.
Yeah.
And it wasn't it wasn't predicting this sort of life. Like, it, you know, I think like it was just predicting that I'll probably end up like working at, I don't know, like
Yeah,
a
as a
low end
teller.
job. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, you like, even with effort, and like, hear my heart here, because I know this is a big thing for people when I say even with effort. When you go to a school that's full of people, and then you try to do well, like in our school, we didn't have a computer.
Okay.
We didn't have any scientific lab. Like, we hadn't, throughout my whole high school schooling career, I didn't see one beaker, and I was in the physics class. All right. So
No.
yeah. So this is the reality. We had literally one tap in the whole school. I went there recently, and it has gotten worse. I used to walk into my class. I used to wear grasshoppers in school.
Okay.
And
Okay. I see you.
yeah, I was swag. But like, when I would walk, there's like a thick layer of dust, like that big. And then in a corner somewhere, there's like packets of chips. And like, I understand that we could have made an effort to like, and some students did, you know, and some of us did, to like maybe put a box so that children throw that into that low box and then take it out at some point. But if 10% of the students are doing that, and then the rest just literally like litter in the class, like,
the effort kind of goes on.
yeah, it goes unnoticed.
Yeah.
It becomes overwhelming. And we see that even in our country. So if a person doesn't agree with that statement, they can look at this country. Like, there's a lot of communities that are doing well where there's no potholes and stuff like that. But majority is being corrupt.
Yeah.
Even your work, or, you know, it just looks like you're not doing much. Or you get like tired. You just go, and yeah, because I go like, I think about this for politics as well. And so going into a little bit of hot waters now, but I go like, politicians understand how the political system works.
Of course.
Right? If there's a community that has maybe a corrupt leader, or service delivery is not really happening, like, for me, logic dictates that, because I understand how
To work
politics, yes, and my community is doing well. Let me band up with other community leaders and hold that guy accountable. I'm not going to watch another father abuse his children because he's a leader of a home, because he never comes into my house and does that here. You know, like, it's not my issue. I'm just like gonna sit where everything works fine for me, you know. And I can get that self-preservation is a thing that kicks in first in a human being. But at least if we're going to make opinions like we do online, we see it every day, people making big accusations and opinions about how this country's like going to the pits and stuff like that. But when they go home, they probably living in a very well looked after
Yes.
place. And I go, cool, I'm happy for you. Now, because you are doing fine, there's a community filled with naive, ignorant people that have a leader who's knowledgeable and who is corrupt, right? Take it upon yourself, and find other leaders, have a chat, and hold that person accountable. If you're not going to do that, how are you going to do? We don't even understand the judicial system. We don't understand how to even bring that person to justice. It starts like that, I believe.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know. It just seems like it keeps happening. And I get it. I just get frustrated if people, all they have is just opinions.
Yes. But I think people with opinions some are far removed from the situation, that they feel like if I say something, then I will feel good about myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like today when I was driving, on the side of the road, there's like a puddle of water. And obviously, if you drive like really fast, the person who's walking on the sidewalk is the pavement.
Yeah,
is gonna get out.
Soaked.
So it happened with the first car, and then when I noticed this, I drove slowly, and I was like, I'm not gonna get there an hour later if I drive slowly. But then the car behind me, zoots it through, and I know that in my mind, I started thinking, oh, that's wrong. That's not okay. You shouldn't do that. Yeah. That's not okay. And then I started thinking, actually, if the roads were fine, this wouldn't be the issue in the first place. Does it make sense? Like,
yes.
So I think if I would go now and complain on Twitter, like, oh my goodness, people are just such bad people. They splash people. But I don't think anyone drives with the idea that I'm going to drive so close to the pavement and splash this person with water. It's a thing that happens, but because I am aware that it's wrong and there is something that I can do about it, but I'm comfortable in my car and I actually didn't get splashed, and I'm still gonna go home, so I'm just gonna tweet about it so I can feel good that I've said something about it, and then it's gonna be fine. The problem's just gonna go away. Whereas the reality is there's a lot of things that are the problem. But the tweeting makes me feel better because now everyone's going to justify them. They're going to be like, that Mercedes was wrong. Ugh.
Yeah.
And then I just, feed into it. And
they'll affirm you,
Yeah, it confirm my bias.
I see.
Behavior.
That's actually, I feel like there must be a name for that sort of thing.
There is. There should be.
There should be. I think there is. And it is a reality, actually. Even with, and I want to talk about this actually, because we have somehow ended up talking about politics. Right. This thing where there's something that's frustrating you, either about the ANC or the government or whatever, right? And then what you decide to do is you decide to go to your friend.
Yes.
Or like your friends come at a braai, you have a braai, and you just start saying these things around them, like all of these frustrations. These people love you.
I'm upset.
Yeah, you're like, I'm so upset at but you have maybe, and I'll say it like you have your black friends at the braai, and you are saying all of these things that make you upset about.
We both know we say different things to our friends, hey?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so... And so it's like those people love you. They're there. They're your mates. You get along with them. But whenever you want to have like a vomit about the group of people that you feel are hurting you, you do it around those people, and it's not helpful. And it's the same, vice versa.
See. So explicitly putting this, you're saying that I'm at a braai with my chomzas.
Yes.
And I'm out here saying all my other white chomzas, or the people that are hurting me, but I say it to these chomzas. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm saying, take me.
Okay.
Like, let's say I'm at a braai with
friends.
Let me racially say it. Like 2 black friends, 4 white friends.
Okay.
Right. And we are braaiing. It's all nice.
Nice.
And then I want to complain about an experience I had. Maybe some lady called me some name that's not kind in the shop, maybe she said a racist remark or something like that. So I was saying, oh, this country, blah, 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 and it's just so uncomfortable to do, all of those things.
Yes.
But that lady is not there.
Yeah.
My friends are there. My friends love me.
Okay.
You get it? They're my friends.
Yes.
They care about me. But I am venting about this person that looks like them because they are around. And similar, maybe at work, there's this guy who got a promotion and you're upset about it and you think it's affirmative action or whatever it is. And now you tell your friends, oh, this guy doesn't even know what he's doing. I don't know how he, but it's not your boss that hired this person that's there. It's not the guy that got hired. He probably doesn't even know that was the case, but it's not your boss. So you're venting to your friends that love you. The black friends that are there. And they love you. They will listen to you. Yes. That's why you say that. You don't want to go and say it to the boss that hired the person that you probably should be upset at if you are upset. So you say it to the people that love you. And how is that fair? Like, I'm just sitting here now, I got to feel bad because... I have to feel bad because they hired a black guy at your work and you feel like it was affirmative action. It was supposed to be your position. I get that. Like, I get how things can be hard, you know? And unfair. Yes. But doing that, having that social vomit with your friends, I find that it's really not nice because these people love you. The vulnerability that they've given to you by being in close proximity with you doesn't give you the right to just vomit all of your bad experiences about a group of people to them. Because they're like an easier target. You know that they're going to listen. So you will just have at it.
Do you not think that people do that so they can get clarity in the dysfunction that they have within themselves?
I wonder. I don't know.
Because this is how I process it. There's a part of me that can function well and can operate and think things clearly. Then there's a part of me that is emotionally driven, and I'm aware that sometimes it just doesn't process things appropriately or correctly. So I'll see a situation and think, that was racist. But then when a friend of mine unpacks it, I realize that, I'm responding. I'm victim responding or trauma responding. So do you not think that part of it, not all of it, is going to your friends to not check, but get the X-ray done? That, listen, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You're the one that's wrong here.
Yes.
You in acrimony. You are wrong.
Yes. So there's but it can also go two ways.
Yes.
I've had to also confront myself about this, because I know that I'm guilty of it. And I can't, if you have an opinion generally about issues, you've probably done something similar. And it doesn't end with race, actually.
No.
It could also be...
humility.
with class, classism and stuff like that. If you are with rich people, suddenly you
speak different.
Or you'll say all of your gripes that you have with poor people and all the...
they just irritate me how they take taxis to work.
No, man.
I'm just saying, you must just change.
Yes, you'll... all of the things that maybe low society does that's maybe littering and stuff like that. I can't understand why they won't just pick up paper. Suddenly, maybe there's one person who is semi, in that life, you are with them. And then you'll say all of those things around them.
Yes.
So it's the person that's catching the flame of this whole thing is the person in proximity to you that reminds you of those people you're upset at.
Oh my God.
It sounds bad.
I'm literally processing it now. I'm this is bad.
It's you are literally chipping away at the relationship that's already there. But what do you actually get? Nothing.
What happens? Sometimes people ask questions and they say they're trying to understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's why do ABC, XYZ, 1, 2, 3? And you're sitting there thinking, I'm not the spokesperson for these people. You know that, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
So it's that. It is absolutely that. And
I get you.
like, I think all of us can learn something from this.
Yes.
Like I said, I've had to confront myself about it and just go like, actually, it's not fair on the white people in my life that love me. For me to like, okay, fine, I've had a terrible experience with maybe some person. And now I want to like have this vomit. So I'm like, oh, Lord, you won't believe what...
Like.
Yes, or something I just like.
Yes.
And you will know the difference. And I love this about human beings. You just know. You know what's going on inside your heart.
Something.
You can lie to everybody, but you know that I'm venting here.
Yes.
And I'm angry.
Yes.
And I want this person to almost account
and apologize on their behalf.
Yes.
Because this is my people.
Yes.
And I'm sorry on their behalf.
Yeah.
It's weird. You know that there's a sound that people make when they are they've got their nasal passage that's itchy.
Yes, I do.
You know what sound I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
And the weird thing is that every time when somebody else does it, you get the look. All the time.
Oh, that's
and it's
great.
always somebody who's your homie. You know? And they're doing it. And you look at the homie like, oh, what are you doing? And then other people look at you like, what is your homie doing?
Yeah, what is he doing?
Can you not
Can you explain this? Like,
can you explain this phenomenon? And you're sitting there going, I just asked them. They're
honestly.
right here.
And
they're right here.
Honestly. Like, I'll just go, fine, if you can live through an afternoon of being upset at your manager for saying these things.
Keep it to yourself.
Wait until tomorrow and tell him.
Yes.
And you'll probably get the most satisfaction. If not satisfaction, you might get the situation changed.
Okay.
I actually believe you might actually get the situation. Maybe it was a blind spot for him, you know? Because maybe he said, go here, and you feel like he said it in a bad tone, right? And then you come and you tell all of your friends, this guy, no. Like, no. Don't spoil our evening. We're trying to have dinner. Like, you know? We love you. Yes. We're here for you.
We're sorry, but
you know, but relax. You know, talk about lovely things.
Yes.
You know, there's a time sometimes for those things. But yes, and then go be upset at your boss.
Okay.
Don't make this whole big speech about the injustices and stuff like that, bro. I just lent you $5 the other week. I care about you. I'm joking. No, I'm joking. But I care about you. Like I'm there when you need me. No, I'm just like ripping. But I'm there when you need me. I listen to you. Yes. I care about the things that's going on in your life. What makes you think that it's okay for when a person who's my race makes you uncomfortable in a way that you have to come and come take it out on me? Yes. It's just. And if you are doing that, or if you realize that you're doing that, it's really not fun. And it won't help you. It's chipping away at the relationships that are there, you know?
That's actually true, because once that happens, I can't do anything besides stay in that space for a while. I don't know if I'm making sense. Like, you stay there and you start thinking, are you telling me this because you want my advice? Are you telling me this because I'm black? Are you telling me this because... Now your brain is overthinking the experiments as a whole. Yeah,
you like started to wonder like how can I solve the crime here in South Africa? Because
when 96% of people,
I'm like,
what am I supposed to do?
So many criminals. What can I do? You know,
maybe I should speak to them.
And it's like my stuff got stolen too, right?
I'm also a victim of this.
You know what I mean? So I just. And like again, I get it. Like this is sort of that space where you can talk about those things. If you raised, and I want this to be that sort of thing where you can say something that I completely disagree with, right? And it's fine, because that's the whole point. Is that I hear your perspective on these things, and I say my perspective on these things, and it's for people that are watching to be stimulated and hear different perspectives. Because if as a human being you think you are always right, I got news for you. But so it's important to almost sometimes listen to things that make you uncomfortable. You'll be by yourself with your phone somewhere. You can even throw a fit or punch air when you're listening to it and go disagreeing. But at least you are getting a different perspective of how that person might feel. I'll have like a white woman here tomorrow and now speak about this thing in a different way, and they are going to express how it makes them feel.
Yes.
You know? And then like I will go, oh, actually I never thought about it that way.
Yes.
Or I could just like,
no.
you know, stay with people that always agree with me and just keep fighting the other people that don't look like me whenever someone who doesn't look like me does something to me.
Yeah.
But I'm losing that relationship that I have with this person. Slowly they're scared to be around me because they don't know what's the next thing that's going to come out of my mouth that's going to make them uncomfortable and feel like they have to apologize for their whole race in this country.
But going back to what you were saying, like you are right in saying that, you know, because there are instances where that type of conversation is had and you can tell that this person is literally frustrated.
Yes.
And they don't want answers from you. They're just really upset.
Yes.
And then you can hold that space for them as their friend, because you can see that what they're looking for is for their friend to say, that's a really bad experience and I'm sorry and I want to hold the space for you. Then you can tell when you are put it on a you have to have a, you know?
You got to put your shield up, or you're going to...
Yeah, and you have to be like, I just don't know what to say. I just came here for the meat.
Yeah. And then like the rest of the bride is just like trying to stuff your mouth so that you don't say the thing that you are now thinking.
And you know that meme with that woman with the numbers and she's trying to calculate. Now you're sitting there thinking and your garlic bread is just not going to
Yeah. And like I value the ability to be able to express yourself and be understood.
Yes.
You know, but I think even in that, even in valuing that and the importance of it, I've realized this lately, that actually there's a version of this thing which isn't very helpful, and this is the one that I'm talking about.
I've never thought about that way, but weirdly I've felt the feeling of wanting to apologize on behalf. But I've never processed it as, I think this is actually a violation of our relationship.
Yeah.
More than it is my friend venting to me. I've never thought about it that way, but I know the feeling of feeling like I have to say, I'm sorry that this person who looks like me has done that. Yeah, it would. A simple way to also put it is like, it's like this was the whole men are trash thing, you know. No, but that's kind of why you guys trash.
I want to speak about this, but they are men to be proud of. They are men that take care of their families. They are men that are providers, you know. And for a time there was this notion that, you know, people were just saying all men are trash and stuff like that, and you're like, there was fathers that were conflicted because they're seeing this on...
Like, me too.
You know, like, does my family also think I'm trash? Does you know? Yeah. But I'm sure there was a maturity that makes them understand that that's not true. But let's say younger men, you know, or stuff like that. It's like, yes, there are horrible guys that have done horrible things, and there's a judicial system to prosecute that. But it's not such a healthy thing now to diminish the image of all men. Because there's impressionable young minds that will sort of like take that and, you know, because if a negative thing was constantly said about all women, there's a self-image thing that sort of ends up happening if you're condemned by a whole group of people. So it's like, it's similar, but I'm sure it's not the same. But it's that concept of going, do not judge like a whole group of people because of the actions of a portion of those people, you know? And have actually the what do you call it? See, it's being man.
Okay.
Yeah, like, and have the the guts to actually
Yes.
say it and say it about everybody. It's like, that's not fair.
I think we all know that the concept of men are trash came from a point of deep pain. Like women in South Africa, myself included, were in deep, like extreme pain.
Yeah.
I think for the first time, the expectation that we have on men, we realized was not being executed well at any level, at corporate level, at home, in our communities, and so forth. And I think the response was very much like, in your capacity as a man, you have been trashed before.
Oh, yeah. I see.
So you need to take that with stride and do better. But we're not saying that every man that lives and breathes is
like garbage.
you know?
Okay.
And if you feel that you are trash, then you need to sort of do some deep introspection. If the shoe fits, you need to do
Kick
some
it off.
deep introspection. And I think at first when I heard that, I was in a very loving relationship. So I was like, what do you mean? He's amazing.
Yeah.
And then when I started processing the pain of a woman, not the pain of a woman who's in love,
I see.
who is safe, then I started realizing it is very difficult actually.
Yeah.
Because something as small as, if I go to the toilet and there's no one there, my guard is up to 100. And it's a woman's toilet.
Yeah.
The only person who can hurt me at that time is possibly a woman. And if the entire area is empty, then it could be a man.
I see.
But there's never a point in my body or my mind that thinks a woman's going to open the door and hurt me.
I see.
My brain instantly goes, a man's going to walk in here and hurt me, or do something that I don't want them to do, like rape me.
I see.
So in a taxi, if you are sitting in the taxi and it's you and the taxi driver, and a woman gets off and two men come in, your brain doesn't think, oh, what lovely men.
Yeah.
What nice shirts he's wearing. You know, I wonder where he bought it. Your brain just thinks, okay, if they just got in now, they're sitting behind me, they might strangle me. Your brain is constantly thinking that. And I think women started realizing that men are not playing the role of protecting women in general out of chivalry as a whole.
All right.
And then I think the hashtag stemmed from that level of pain. Because remember, there was a lot of stories with the GBV, which is still happening now.
Yeah.
And for every story, there was a man who knew something and who could have done something, who could have seen something or heard something. And then it became very apparent that women felt or feel like the expectation of what a woman is very much out there. You grow up being taught that you need to be this way. You need to wake up in the morning. You need to clean your bedroom because no one's going to marry you if you're this way. But with men, the expectation or the bar is so low that the simplest of things, like protecting a woman, is not something that you practice.
Yeah.
So then women are fed up with the idea that they are coming to the party to be the woman that society requires. But men, on the other hand, are just half-assing it.
Yeah.
That's just basically it. It's
Okay.
like,
Well, I'm glad I brought it up. And yeah, there was levels of ignorance on my part. But I'm glad it came up, because then now I think whoever's watching has a bit of an understanding of how a woman actually feels about it. There was this guy, a comedian, was talking, and he was saying that one of his friends sexually assaulted one of his female friends. And he was saying, if he's being honest with himself, over the years, there was signs.
okay.
You know, but he just never thought anything of it, you know? But he was sort of repenting and going, like, from now on, like, I'm choosing to be on top of this, and we need to do better as men. That, like, your friend, if you see him being funny in any ways, you must tell them.
Yes.
You know, you must bring it up, make it uncomfortable, you know, like, so that it doesn't progress to like a bad place, you know. And if you need to hold them accountable to whatever measure, do that as well, because that's still part of protecting society and protecting women. And I do think that yes, this world has some unwritten rules, you know, and we sort of need to. There's people that enforce those rules. There's people that observe them, and if the scales are tipped in some way, there's chaos, you know. So yeah, I think an encouragement to young men out there, it doesn't only have to be a woman's job to watch out, you know. But if there's a guy who's behaving a certain way, don't wait until they do the most heinous thing. Like, have a chat with them. Have a chat. Bring it up if it needs to be escalated in some way. Like, if you know, so that they can see that there's a problem, and everyone around them can sort of understand what's going on. You know, if they need to be held accountable in whatever measure, you must not protect people. You know,
and also like protecting someone who could potentially be dangerous is you teaching yourself how to accept dangerous situations. Because once a person is weird and creepy, that should trigger something in you that goes, I don't like this. Don't gaslight yourself and be like, it's not that bad. Or it seems like she is enjoying it. Like, if you know that it's not okay.
It's not
so
right.
Don't condition yourself to teach yourself like dangerous situations are okay. Because what's happening is that you're becoming unwillingly an accomplice.
Yes, absolutely. And there's this thing that people don't realize. It's for everything. I think about it like this: the things that you are choosing to do, like choosing to ignore a person, or choosing to be racist or not nice, or like you are creating an environment that will affect you in future, or affect your children, or affect your children's children. You know, like if the world is going to the pits down there, because it hasn't come here, I'm thinking everything is fine. You know, but we know, like, if a place is there's drugs, there's poor people, and like there's no service delivery, it's going to probably generate criminals that will eventually come and affect me at some point.
It's coming.
And it's the same with this kind of behavior now. Like, if I'm going to watch guys that I know, or like whatever, just be creepy, and I'm just gonna be silent about it, how can I have confidence that that's never going to happen to my daughter, or my sister, or my mother? You know, it's like an unfair trade. You can't expect that of the world if you are not delivering on that safety that you need to be. So it's a scary thought.
But do you not think that men don't have do you not think that men don't have a criteria of what a man is outside of you need to protect any man that you know? It's very sorority club based. It's like protect your friends, protect. But I don't think there's now a benchmark or a conversation of what is it that you're actually protecting now? Now that you're protecting this person, what thing are you protecting? I don't know if I'm making sense.
I think I sort of understand. The thing is that with men, they also understand that there's repercussions for actions, even beliefs. You know, like that's why when men get into a scuffle, it ends violently. Or they don't get into a scuffle at all.
So there's no in between.
There's hardly in between, because the consequence is right here. Like, you say the wrong thing, there's a consequence that's imminent that you could be facing, which is generally different from the woman's experience, in my opinion. If you're talking about the same sex, like women against women can say a lot of things to each other. Sometimes that is like very mean, or like that's you know, and nothing happens. They just say things. You know,
I'm not going to say anymore.
You know, and then it ends like that.
Yes.
So I think men do that whole thing of banding together to some degree and being with like-minded people because they understand that if I'm in a group of chaos and I'm not the strongest, I'm going to lose every time.
Okay.
And I don't know what the cure for that would be.
But the banding doesn't stem from love, though. It stems from
survival. Absolutely. That's
so
the
dangerous.
thing. Yeah.
It's so dangerous, Ricardo.
We are creatures at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if you can think about that and override it, and you find that society that is more well off tends to understand that better.
And what does understand that? What is the that support?
Is that it doesn't have to end with physicality.
Okay.
And they don't have to fear being of a different opinion. Yes, of a different opinion within a group.
Okay.
Like I can tell guys that, hey, like I don't like the fact that you speak in that way to you should relax.
Now that you mention it, I can actually see that because when a group of men agree on something, okay, let's say they all agree that being romantic is lame.
Yes.
Don't buy flowers. Then comes one guy, okay, who's like, actually, I like buying flowers. It's a thing for me.
Yeah.
Instantly, not instantly, but very, very quickly, there's a term that he's given.
Yes.
And he's a simp. It's
They
not
get marginalized.
you like it and we don't, it's fine. You go buying flowers. No. It's what is wrong with you?
Yes.
Don't do it. In this group, we all don't buy flowers. And we all talk about how guys that buy flowers are stupid.
Yeah.
So there is a sense, but it's sad, Ricardo.
It is sad.
It's sad.
And generally, you'll find that they don't actually even believe it themselves. It's like maybe the strongest one believes this, and he's also coming from a place of insecurity. But it's like this going theme, an unwritten rule. Now everybody's like, I gotta love cars, I gotta know cars, and they'll go and study.
And all you want to do is watch Love Is Blind.
Yes. Now I gotta say a Porsche is nice. When I don't like Porsche.
Yeah. You don't watch soccer, but you're like, Manchester.
Yes.
Which one? United or just Manchester?
Yes, they're so good.
Just Manchester.
So it's a big thing. But that's not all. It's not all in terms of how light of scenarios, right? It can go deeper.
Okay.
Maybe they all have guns or they have this opinion about guns, you know? And then, you find a person now suddenly... Yeah, that too. And that in turn affects how you end up interacting with the world.
I get you.
And I think that's a nice teaching moment, especially for young people, is to go you are created in a way. And then there's some guys that are a little bit more, they have some feminine touches, you know? Maybe you like pink or whatever.
Or you like painting.
You know?
You like a clean house, you like cleaning.
Yes, stuff like that. You don't have to be smelly and have a smelly room because you're a guy. And
Please,
that's
no.
no.
Nobody likes that. I've never come across a woman who goes, nobody likes that. I don't know why you guys think nobody likes that.
I don't think we think it's great. I just think.
What do you think it is?
I don't know, but that's the whole point. Is that you don't have to feel bad about being different. Or just go find another social circle. Honestly, it's not worth transforming yourself into something you don't like because everyone here has to do this, and then suddenly you're unhappy.
And also the adapting into two lives must be so exhausting, because imagine you've got your bros, okay, and you're like, I don't wash dishes. Okay, and then you get to the house and you're like, hi honey, I'll do the dishes. Do you love yourself?
But I feel like we all do that
so much. Why? Because when everybody's talking about I don't wash dishes, just keep quiet. You don't need to say you don't.
Yes.
Just you keeping quiet is you're actually not agreeing or disagreeing.
But where are
Just
you
leave
gonna
it as
get
it
points
is.
if you just keep quiet?
But
That's the whole thing. It's
They're gonna
such
be like,
a.
oh, he was too quiet.
Yeah. We've been taught to, let me say, condition, because that's another thing. No, but it doesn't have to be. Like, if you're really listening with a pure heart, you understand what I'm saying. But people now, there's this whole thing of victim mentality. So it's conditioning. Like everyone else is conditioning. That's what I mean. But these terms, we love them so much, and we love what they mean against other people.
They make us feel like we belong somewhere.
But I think humans are very good at changing who they are. That's literally how they survive. And it's best to know that about yourself. Like even with the thing that I was talking about earlier, at work, you are like, yes, man, doing everything without any grumbling. You're like,
course.
But suddenly when you get home to someone who loves you, they get the worst of you. And it's like, what? It's not fair on them. They're getting like a terrible version of you. But here, suddenly you're like all nice and, tumega, you're like this great,
I think because here you are rewarded for your behavior. And this side, you have to work towards you have to have a particular behavior in order for it to work. So you perform at work and you get paid for it and you get a certificate, and that's fine. There's a box of, if I do this, I get this. It's very instant gratification. Whereas here, at home and with the people you love, there's not instant gratification. There's a part of yourself that needs to not die, but like you need to give yourself over in order for it to work. There's no, I'm going to wash the dishes and then say I love you and go to bed. It might have worked on Monday, but Wednesday requires a different you. Wednesday requires a you that's asking, what's on your plate today? Whereas at work, you go back the next day, same thing. You switch on the computer, you go to Excel, you call it a day. So I think because work is a very like, you do this, then this happens. And here, it's constantly changing depending on season, depending on where the person is, depending on family dynamics, depending on who dies, who stays alive. It's not the same. Whereas at work, a person can leave tomorrow and you're like, oh, damn. Hi, Sam. You can sit here. This is your desk, Whereas here, there's people that are irreplaceable. So it is different.
But you would think you would be more careful with those people that are irreplaceable.
Of course.
Somehow, you literally risk the relationship more than you do the work relationship. And this is the reverse thing that I don't get about humanity. And we're all guilty of this. Like, the interactions that you have with, like, even colleagues, the types of interactions that which buttons not to press. You can easily sense your boss's mood, and then walk around.
Yes.
You
talk about in the office like, oh, the witch is not okay today.
Okay. And then you careful about how you interact with that person.
Yes.
Or even when you are not in a great mood,
People can see.
But you tend to, you're like, okay, I'll see you later. Mood. You put it in their pocket, and then you'll be like bubbly because this is where it can you preserving yourself within this space. But when you get home, it's like you pull out yesterday's mood, today's mood, everything, and you put it here and you just wear it. And then this person that loves you just gets the nastiest version of you.
It's not nice, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I can say this here. It's like, there's a thing that women wear underneath their t-shirts. And if you're a woman, you're the only person who can understand that feeling when you get home and it comes off. Okay?
Yeah.
I think when you get home, it's that feeling like, I can finally be myself. And I can finally say things like, I don't think I appreciate working this long. Or you can say stuff that you can only keep for. So I think for me, because I'm a very private person, nobody knows at work what I do. Like nobody knows if I live and breathe. They just know I have a family, and that's about it. And I reserve all the things that are me. Like if I'm angry or if I'm not okay or something's bothering me, for my family. And work just deserves bare minimum, hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
Get the work done.
You'll give it that.
And then when I get home, home feels safe. Home feels like I don't need to over-explain myself. I don't need to hide who I am. But I also think we take for granted that the people at home are confident enough to hold those spaces for us, because work can't hold that space.
Yeah.
Work is dangerous. So home can hold that space and say, listen to me. Like, you can get home and cry and no one will go, oh, is she okay? She's struggling. You know, people will just look at you and they'll go, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, this is okay. So I think sometimes we take it too far.
Yes.
Where we now unpack everything and we don't consider the people that we're unpacking this to. Yeah. Because for me, before I used to, if I have had a long day or I'm tired, I would carry it into the house. And I could tell, like, the kids would be sitting and eating, and it would just quiet, you know? It wouldn't be as loud and as chaotic as it normally is. And in the days where I'm happy, the kids are happy. And then I started this thing where I was like, now when I'm not okay, I'll just park the car, stay in the car, play music, even if it's an hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. But I know that the person who's leaving the car is tired.
Yes.
But I'm not lashing out. Like, I'm not upset that you've maced the table. Because those things that you carry make small things big. So I'm no longer, you know. So I think sometimes we need to be responsible with ourselves. Like, okay, I know I'm not okay. And if I give myself 45 minutes, I'm creating a behavior that serves the people in the house.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're speaking into. Like, we need to also
honor
work
them
as hard.
to some degree. Just we get it, it's hard, and we get it, they're there for you. But I think
we shouldn't abuse it.
Yeah, we shouldn't, and because it looks so strange, even that whole contrast. It should be the other way around, but I sort of get it now because this is what we've chosen. Okay, fine. Now I want to ask this question. I think, I don't know if I should say that I think this, but I've already said that. I do think this, but I want to pose it as a question. Whenever I say something, I have a very open mind, and I'm happy to be wrong if you bring a compelling argument. Otherwise, then I'm not a free-thinking person if I'm not allowed to say something and be in a space where I can be wrong. But you better give me good reason to be wrong, because it's just how I think, how I've processed something, and I'm happy to change my mind. But and it's going to sound a little bit like a generalization. It's not. But with women, I find because, and I mean, men also have their own struggles, you know, and, you know, it's the biggest eternal battle of who struggles more. But with women, for instance, especially at work, or like just the world in general, I think even in their mind, having to fight against the world for their safety, for their comfort, and all of these other things, and fighting at work, maybe like working and not feeling like they're getting what they should be getting and stuff like that. I find that they'll get home sometimes and they'll just, I don't know, the guy will feel that energy. It's like they'll feel that energy. And at some point I thought about this and I was like, actually, I get it, because what it means is that this is the safe person. This is the safe guy in my life that I can actually be myself and say the thing that is harder to say to maybe other men, because I'm like, I don't know what could happen, or you know, and as soon as I realized that there's a relative coolness about it. She trusts me enough that she can, you know, be herself in that way, you know, because the rest of the world doesn't really allow her much. She's always trying to find comfort, trying to fight for position, trying to, you know, and especially in a world where women have basically just been integrated into society in terms of work. The value that apart from just being at home, they've just recently been integrated. It's also, side note, it's amazing how we understand that concept for women, but we don't get it on the race part of things.
Stop,
but I'm fully aware of it, and like I get the the bigness of it.
Yes.
But yeah, just for men, because like I'm a man, and there are chats that we have. And I'm not spilling the sauce here, guys. But I know that like sometimes there's things that like women will do that we don't understand.
Yeah.
Some of it maybe comes from the fact that she trusts you so much that she can be herself where the rest of the world doesn't allow her to be. You know, you like the safe space where she can, you know, take the under
Yes, that thing. Yeah.
the shirt underneath out for a bit. And I think to some level, men too, you know, they maybe some of them walk on eggshells and like because of getting cancelled and whatever and whatever. And then they just like get home and they just want to be like a little bit more freer than.
Yes.
I wonder if we as society should just like start having conversations and actually figuring each other out a little bit more. Yeah.
I think the concept of vulnerability has become open, but no one's saying that it's become okay. People are saying you can be vulnerable, but no one's saying be vulnerable. Like no one's saying
Do it there.
Yeah. You must be vulnerable. Yeah, you must be vulnerable. But no one's saying, do it. Let's go. You know.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is because we don't know how to remove ourselves when a person is being vulnerable from whatever it is that they're talking about.
Yes.
We want to solve it. We want to find a way. We just want to do something. We love them. We want them to feel better. But sometimes I think in most cases, people want to say what they want to say and then go to sleep, or say what they want to say and cry. And it's not the same for a lot of people. But what I do know from a woman's perspective is that most, not all, women are processors. Something happens, I need to say it out loud. I'm processing it as I'm saying it. When you're saying, no, I don't understand that. Why would they do that? So when we're having this conversation, I'm processing it. Once we're done, I've been vulnerable. But I think sometimes because you're the arch between protecting and loving me, that's when I take that for granted as well.
I see.
I don't remember that you too need to be protected and you too need to have a safe space and you too need to be loved.
Yeah.
Because you've done it so well so many times that when I need to do it for you, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then again, I'm making myself the middle person in all of this.
So it's like it's coming full circle now. Actually, it's like we want people to be vulnerable and have a safe space where they can talk. People are yearning for that space, but sometimes they overdo the sharing and the vulnerability, and then vice versa. Sometimes we profess the creation of the space, but we actually don't want you to do it. You must be vulnerable, but do it over there. Like don't do it here.
So I can tell people that I'm a person who's open to vulnerability.
Yeah.
It's like,
and feel like I'm actually
so good.
because you want that, you know. We are creatures that seek comfort. You know, we're either going to suck on our thumb or sleep in a fetal position, something. We like something that brings us comfort. And so it comforts me to know I can convince my brain that I am my subconscious, that I am a person who allows vulnerability, but my actions do not profess that. Yeah. Like, actually, I will say, we should have a conversation. But whenever we're having a conversation, I am like bitter and I'm resentful and my answers are not helpful and I'm not really there for you.
And then you hurt me. This is what you do.
Yes, that's what I do. But I've convinced myself that I'm giving you space.
Yes, but because you think that you're listening.
Yeah, no,
I'm not.
What
you're doing is actually passively listening.
I'm extracting information from.
You are just not diving into this issue, you know. And another thing, especially, so I'm a person who's very like intense. I always say this, and it sounds crazy. Like, if I realize that I like you, whether it's a friend or what it is, like I'm like diving deep. I'm like digging as deep as possible because I don't have time to be figuring out your traumas this year's to come.
Yeah.
We need to do this now. But then I then realized that for some people that is not okay.
Yeah.
Actually, for a lot of people, it's not okay.
Yes.
Because in my mind, I'm like, I'm comfortable with my vulnerability. Let's go. Like, how do you feel about your mom? How do you feel about your childhood? And the person's like you're a little bit too much. I then learned recently, maybe last year, or maybe this year, I can't remember, a friend of mine was like, I like that you are confident in your vulnerability, but my vulnerability scares me. So when you open a conversation that I'm not ready for, I feel like you're forcing me to be vulnerable.
Yeah, see.
And it feels like you want just that. That's all you want. You don't want it to be natural.
Oh, wow, I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then their request was, when you're about to throw something heavy in my direction, just ask me, do you have emotional capacity for a heavy conversation?
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, oh, that's all right. Like, and it didn't feel to me like they're controlling me. It felt like they're putting a boundary to protect themselves from my behavior. And I was excited about this because I was like, oh, so I do have the platform to discuss this. It's just that the person needs to be ready.
Yes.
So what they're doing now is that they're saying, I want you to be vulnerable and I have space for it, but I also want to make sure that I'm protecting myself
Yes.
in it. And I think that's another place where people struggle with.
Yes.
You know, like probably I'm going through something and then you tell me something and I'm like, oh, Ricardo,
Yeah.
he's always got problems. And it's like, no, just tell Ricardo, listen to me, I want to honor this, but right now is not the right time.
Yeah.
And the person who's on the other end is thinking, okay, when the right time is there, I'll tell you everything that I need to tell you because I'm so upset.
Yes.
You know?
The invites.
I'll keep it.
The invites of the bride says, bring and share, bring drinks. Doesn't say, be ready for a political conversation as well. so I think we've sort of cracked it. Is that if we are going to have those conversations and we want them to look healthy, is to prepare ourselves. You know, I'm going to say things that will probably make you feel uncomfortable,
Yes.
but you will probably say things that will make me feel uncomfortable. I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
And I'm in a headspace where I can take all of that in. Because the reality is that if we're going to understand each other, if we're going to make an effort to understand each other, we have to hear uncomfortable things being said
Yes.
about, each
But we
other.
also need to be ready.
We need to be ready though.
Because I don't know, there's triggers, you know? Triggers.
Yes.
Triggers, you know?
And some things, like, I mean, the psychology thing, it's recently been taken seriously, but there are people who are professionals at it, and it's still such a big thing and misunderstood in such a wide way that there are traumas and life experiences that shape us that we still can't understand.
Yes.
So when a non-professional brings up something that's important, like to a person, like a general belief over a group of people is a big
It's very big.
it's
big.
processing mechanism for a person. Now suddenly you want to question all of it,
Yeah.
but you're not even like preparing their minds for that.
And
like,
unpacking it slowly as well.
yes, it's like, of course I'm going to be defensive.
Yes.
Of course I'm going to like be upset
Yes.
that you are saying this about the people that I grew up around, or like, like because like I feel like I'm embroidered in that whole thing.
Yes.
Whereas if we go, okay, like we are going to in a healthy way try and figure this whole thing out, and then when I hear something negative about people that look like me or something like that, I actually now consider it. I go, okay, that is the experience that person has of
Yes.
people that look like me. Okay, cool. What can I learn about that?
I just want to ask a question. Have you ever felt like because you are able to remove yourself from any situation and try and see it in its broad spectrum, that sometimes you sound like an apologist for a particular race, regardless of what it is? Even when you're explaining the semantics of what happened, it sounds like the Zulu way to say this, like you're a traitor.
Yeah.
Per se.
Absolutely.
And you are literally unpacking it and say, but guys, let's look at this, and it just sounds like, it slowly sounds like you're crazy.
Yes.
And the more you explain it, you're like, I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. Like it just makes sense.
And even the group that I'm maybe advocating for, or like trying to appeal to,
Yes.
or trying to present an argument around, they will also think that I'm like that. So maybe it's okay if we say these things, or like, you know, but that's not the case. For me, it's still important for me to speak for maybe a group of people and lay the point. But because I'm able to just understand and try to get your perspective in any case, because it's important to me.
Yes.
That style of discussing something is important to me. It doesn't mean that I agree with you. It's just that I am willing to actually sit down
and hear what
and listen to what you have to say, and take what I feel will be true from what you say. But we misconceptualize that for this person agrees with me or agrees with this group. Because you know what the alternative is? The alternative is a radical black man. You get what I mean? Is that what you really want?
Yes.
Because if you are saying to me, I need to be one or the other, then you're looking at radical white people and radical colored people, radical Indian people, radical black people. That's not a society you want to live in.
Yeah, that's extreme.
You know, because it means everything that black people believe about white people, I need to act on.
It's true.
It's true, and
it's
I need
true.
to act
You're
on.
not
And it's the
questioning
same.
You're not asking. You're diving in. You're accepting it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's generally, it's not. There's no way forward in terms of that. Like, I do need to like remove my personal feelings about something, or even if they're still intact, but like try and understand this person who grew up innocently living their life without ever thinking there was anything wrong, because they grew up in a segregated community and stuff like that. Okay, how do they perceive the world?
Yeah.
How can I understand them enough to try and change what I feel I can, or try and change, or them try and change what they feel they can understand about me?
Yeah.
If I don't give myself enough headroom to be able to observe that information in a peaceful state, they will not say what they feel, and I will not grow from that conversation, you know?
Yeah.
And like I said again, the alternative to that is everyone is just radical, you know?
The more you say it, the more it just creeps me out.
And that's like
sounds
scary.
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
a scary thought.
It's scary.
We don't want that.
It is.
So I think part of, if we are as a country are going to move forward, is actually like, we need to think about how we listen to each other. Even if I don't get it. I don't get it, like maybe I don't even agree, but I need to actually hear you and understand where you are coming from.
Yeah.
You know, you get a schizophrenic person or something like that, and they'll be like saying things. You don't have to understand them, but you actually have to listen to get a feel for what's happening in their mind, so that you can help them.
Yes.
Even though you know it's not reality.
It's even like a person who's very angry. Your brain cannot process that this person is just an angry person. You should at least think, why are you like this?
Yeah.
What has led you to be this person?
Yes.
And the more you listen, the more you understand and unpack it this way and that way and this way. And for me, my greatest strength at work is listening to what people say about themselves outside of work.
Oh, yeah.
So then I can see the reflection of who they are here. And I can see the triggers, you know, like, for instance, if a person always wants to be the one, I don't know, like, who's always being congratulated, well done, Ricardo, even on the simplest of things, I start listening to what are they doing on the weekends, what are they saying about their friends, and then I hear the train of thought that, oh, when they were growing up, they were always the person who was last to be picked and last to be, then I can attach that experience to who they are.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make them who they are, but it makes me understand them a little
Their
bit
reality a bit,
more. Yeah. And to some degree, it makes life a little bit difficult, because now that I understand that, now I have to act on it. Now I'm responsible for the information that I know. I can't now just be angry and I have to be like, okay, this is upsetting me.
And do you think we avoid that? We don't want to know, because the moment I know, I now live with the guilt.
Yeah, I have to do something about it.
I literally think that's one of the things that, like, people don't want to know, because then their conscience is going to it's going to live with them. You are wrong, and you know or you know you can do this, but you're not.
Yeah. Well, your biggest critique is always yourself, because you know yourself well enough. Yeah.
And there's a life is bigger than you, and you know where you are missing it. I want to end. I want to thank you for coming. I love the twist and the turns that this conversation has taken, and the shape that it's taken.
Yeah.
And I think for anyone watching, there are things that may have been said that may have offended somebody or something like that. And if you are, and you have a big problem with it, I'm happy for you to come and have a chat with me, and then we can figure out how you can be better understood too.
Yeah.
Don't punch air at home and chat to your friends and never come and let me understand you. Because what I've said here and what she said here is an overview of, in summary, actually, of how we've perceived the world, or how we perceive the world. And we're not saying that it's absolute. We are just saying, here's our experience.
Yeah.
And if someone has a different one, we're happy to hear it and then take from that and learn. Yeah. And then there's things maybe here that you have taken and have learned. And that's how we move forward.
Yep.
Literally. Yeah. So, take everything with a pinch of salt. And then we'll see you on the next one. Hopefully.
Bye.